ready.
S-D-P, the Steve Dangle Podcast, with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Hey, just want to tell you that we are going to have a live Q&A on Discord next Tuesday before the first Leafs game.
Spicy.
6 o'clock, all three of us live on Discord.
And we will have a discourse.
That's right.
Oh, man.
Aha,
Isn't that wild?
Isn't that crazy?
Do you think they knew that when they came up with the name?
I can't imagine they did.
Probably
That's
not.
something that they probably were like, wow, we lucked into that. How crazy is that?
It's like me and Dangle.
If you
Yeah.
go to sdpn.ca right now, you'll land on the homepage, and when you scroll down a little on the homepage, there'll be a little button there that says "Join us on Discord." Click that button, and it'll take you right to our Discord server. It says currently there's 1,510 people online. You guys,
Dude, it's 10:42
you guys
a.m.
go to work or school?
Oh, my God. I don't know.
I guess other
Fuck work.
other time zones too, but like
Yo, but still, 10 a.m.
Work's stupid.
1,500 people
going on
just
here?
chilling on our Discord at 10 a.m. Eastern.
It should be so much fun. A little shout out to
Remember
Rob.
that time you worked really hard and got a raise? No, you don't. Go on our Discord.
Rob Malloy is putting this together, so we want to thank Rob. We love Rob. Listen, I wasn't going to start the show with this, but Steve, via Justin Fisher, found out something called that drops today. It's called NHL Breakaway. Now, gentlemen, please explain what a breakaway is in the NHL.
A breakaway is when you have the puck all by yourself as you skate towards the goaltender and you try to score a goal.
Actually, you're fucking wrong.
Yeah?
It's an NFT.
cool.
I asked you what a breakaway was in the NHL context. And so NHL breakaway is now verified on Twitter, although they
they paid
the
$9.99 a month.
No, but they didn't pay. What's interesting about it is they didn't pay the $1,000 a month that an organization's supposed to pay. They only got the blue check mark, not the gold one.
Okay.
Yes.
It says
do you want the usable version of this website or the other one?
experience the NHL like never before. Digital collectibles and highlights from your favorite players, past and present. So, am I wrong in saying the NHL is launching NFTs today?
Yes, and I'm amazed they got this out before the season because they're also launching their line of beta tapes, Tamagotchis, bell-bottom jeans.
Commodore 64 games.
Yeah, just
Now here's what happens. Starting, actually, they say it started Friday, but they're only promoting it now.
Wait.
Sorry, Friday, September 22nd is actually the date that it says it was going to start at 11 a.m.
I haven't heard a human soul speak.
and
or
also,
write about
but on
this.
their Twitter account, there's a countdown, and it says it starts today.
I don't.
So-
Maybe it was like pre-orders.
Yeah, no, I guess-
I'm sorry. Imagine in the year of our Lord, pre-ordering an NFT.
I don't think
in
that's
2023.
I don't think that's what it was. I
No?
think sometimes when you do a contest, your legalese is you start it a little bit earlier, even
Whatever.
earlier than you start the contest, just so you have some wriggle room.
What? Like I'm out automatically.
For $15 US, you get 5,000 packs. Oh, sorry, there were 5,000 packs total. $15. $15
I was like, I don't think that's true.
Well, they don't listen. They didn't word this website really well. Okay, the purchase limit is 6 per person, so you can spend up to 15 times 6. Buy now process has started. You're gonna have 10 minutes to complete your checkout too. So you not only are you gonna have to buy them, you're gonna have to fucking race to buy them.
Yeah.
I don't care if your internet's slow. I don't care if you're using the wrong browser. By the way, they only accept Safari. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Are you ready to be so ripped off?
You get each pack of NFTs. Actually, they call them highlights. Are 3 base highlights from a core of 1,500 from the 2023 set. 1 highlight with the following probabilities: 70% base highlight from the 2023 base set, 30% the hunt for the Stanley Cup in 2023, and there will be 1 highlight with the following probabilities: 80% base, 60% opening night highlight, or 4% making the mark, which is an epic card. Includes new career and season-defining highlights from huge stars like Claude Giroux, Phil Kessel, and Joe Pavelski.
Those are the three names they highlighted?
Those are the big highlighted season names.
Once again, what year is it?
This is just a simple case of, hey, eat the sunk cost, okay? Like, in 2021 or 2020, whenever you saw Top Shot go off, and Steve and I were into that, same with Justin Fisher, and it was awesome having those NFTs in the NBA.
And I was losing my mind alone in my home. We all were. That's why we got into them.
And then the whole thing crashed, and it was over. And it's been over for like, what, a year and a half now? About 2 years now. It's been over.
Minimum a year. Minimum.
Cancel the project. Like, you didn't get there in time.
Look at these guys with their cancer.
You said, hey, I'm gonna run over to Shoppers Drug Mart because I need this and it's last minute, but like it's 8:50 and I think I'm gonna get there on time because it closed at 9, but it's 20 minutes away. And then you started driving, you get there and it's 9:10.
And you bang on the door. Because it's their fault for closing the store.
How do I get my toothbrush now? No, you left too late. It doesn't make sense to launch.
Looks like it's going to be a cloth type of night, bud, because you're not getting a toothbrush tonight.
No.
Dude, so Fisher sends it to me. Remember how they were talking about Top Shot for hockey? And then he sends me the link. Get ready to be wildly underwhelmed, baby.
So I'm on the site right now. It's a copy and paste of Top Shot. I assume they used the same people who made that one to make this one. If you guys look at it, their preseason starter pack is available right now. If you want the preseason pack, it's costing $15 USD. And apparently, according to the amount available, about half are sold.
What are you doing?
It says 2,162 of 5,000 are currently available. So more than half are already gone.
I mean, sunk costs for what? Like someone in that office.
They paid for this.
Yeah.
Someone in that office was like, it's way too late. We can't do this. And someone else in that office said, someone will still buy it. And the second person was right.
So I wonder how many of those nearly 3,000 people who purchased the preseason starter pack are like, hey, here's a code that you can go grab your thing. You know, they're like friends or influencers who just received something free from the NHL to be like, hey, go try out our breakaway beta site and get a preseason starter pack.
Well,
they might have handed out 3,000 $15 codes to their site.
Or it could be
Marketing.
like one guy who has so much money. And he's like, you know what? I'm just going to buy them all in the off chance it works out.
I have a
because
question.
it doesn't matter to me.
So if you go down on the website a little bit, there is a Hunt for Stanley 2023 that these are the highlights that are available.
On the homepage.
There is a Making the Mark. And it says something about 0% frozen. If you keep going, Jess, you got to go.
I can't scroll past the highlight.
Oh, you can't scroll past the highlight.
If we're going to take that off.
I don't know. I've never bought an NFT. I don't know anything. But I'm trying to figure out what this even means. There's Series 1 things, and they freeze by April 19th, 2024. Now, I
don't know.
I'm assuming those are like hockey card sets, except it's NFT. Now, let me ask you this. If you get one of the highlights, because they actually will show you the full highlights list. Let's say you get a Moritz Seider NHL. By the way, there's like a Google Doc that they share, so you can check out which highlights are where. Literally, it's a shared Google Doc that I'm looking at right now, which is the list of their highlights.
Send me that. I'll put it up on screen.
Like I'm literally in a Google Excel document. I don't know what to say, man. Maybe it was the most effective way, but there will be. Let's say there's 250 Anton Lindell minted goals, which is the opening ice highlights available at this drop.
You are a sick puppy.
Or Jeff Merrick would love this. The Jake Neighbors.
Oh, man.
$250, very rare. They say, what's the rarity? Rare. There's core, which is the lowest level.
$250.
There's limited, which is limited. There's rare, and then there's the highest one is epic.
No, it's not $250.
No, it's 250
of them printed.
Oh, here's my question.
So the rarest one, they're minting 100 of them, which is not true because it's a digital file.
This isn't technically an NFT, right? Because if you own an NFT, you own the one. don't you?
Yeah, no, these are NFTs.
These are NFTs.
Yeah.
So explain this to me, Jesse, because I really have no idea. I don't understand this. I was just like, I don't care.
I feel like we did this a lot in 2020.
Yeah, for sure, because there was nothing else to do. But listen, there was a bunch of shit happening at that point, and I was like, I'm overwhelmed. I'm going to take a step back. It's cool that all the kids are doing it. I'm just not going to do it. When you buy an NFT, let's say I buy an NFT of this television remote flying through the air and
it's like a little gift.
hit Steve on the head.
Yeah.
Because I'm a cruel man, so I bought it so I can watch it myself.
Whoa.
Okay.
Yeah.
If the NHL was selling it, they can only sell one, right?
Yeah.
They can only sell it once.
There's one copy of that.
But what does it mean when there's 250?
So they made 250. It's like a if you think about it in real like a trading card. They printed 250 of them.
There are
So
251 copies.
yeah.
Okay.
So like each one has an identifier that'll say like this one is the one of the 100.
I see.
This
You
is
could have
my
one.
NFT. There are many like it, but this one is mine.
But as we learned as the year went on when it was popular, it didn't really hold any value or make really any sense because we at the end of the day we're like they're still just digital files and copy and paste exists.
Sometimes
And your JPEG isn't really worth anything.
Sometimes you're old and right. That and the NFT was one of those things where I was like, I'm into this. I'm not old. And I was struggling against it. No, I'm still hip. I'm still cool. And I didn't get it for a second, but I gave it a chance because here's this new thing.
You got to try things.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try it and I'm going to be excited about it.
Sure.
And I got bad news for you. My oldness was right. It's fucking stupid.
It was a cool way for all of us to get back into hockey cards from our homes. It was
Yes.
it was fun in that way. Like I enjoyed collecting hockey cards as a kid. I had a one of those old. I forget what chocolate it was, but I had like an old chocolate box. You know, the ones that like your grandma has, and there's a bunch of sweets in them.
Yeah.
One of the classic ones, and all of the sweets were obviously taken out, and stuffed inside of it were my baseball cards. You know, and there was like 1,000 in there, and it was awesome, and I loved that as a kid. And having this craze come
I
back.
thought the hockey cards came in the chocolate box.
No,
And I was
that's
like,
where
I remember fish sticks. I remember craft dinner. I don't remember the chocolate box.
No, that's where I put my hockey cards. I still have the box somewhere. But when this was popular, it harkened back to a simpler time.
Yeah, when you were at Blockbuster on a Friday.
Yeah.
And you rented a movie and your mom said, sure, get that card from Upper Deck.
I ran down the stairs faster than I needed to so I could be there on time.
Right.
We all like hockey cards.
Yeah, so the thing that I'm confused about with an NFT is I thought if you owned it, you owned the original. So I thought that if the NHL is selling these highlights of these players, I thought that you would own the original.
You own that copy of the highlight.
Does the NHL, if you buy it, have the right to take it back?
No.
So-
But they must
whatever.
also own it, right?
I have a rare Felix
No.
Potvin card.
Okay.
It is one of 99. That means I have my card,
Yeah.
but there are 98 others.
Yeah.
It's the same with these NFTs, except there's no physical
version.
copy of it. Also, the card that I have that is one of 99 is actually a jersey patch card.
Okay.
So no one else, technically it's a one of one. It's 99 different one of ones because we all have a different piece of the jersey or
Which is
whatever the
pretty
item
cool.
is, which is pretty cool. Like I could find someone with the
That is
exact
neat.
same card, but it's different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Technically, if I found all 99 of them, I could take all the pieces out and put them back together. I don't know if anyone's ever done that.
Okay.
This is just copies of a video you can find anywhere
All right.
on any
Listen, man, it's
platform
your
for
money.
free.
Do whatever the hell you want with it.
Look
You
what I keep
can.
in my backpack here.
Is it an NFT?
It's a collection of William Nylander hockey cards.
Ooh.
I was gifted this once at one of our live shows.
Why
I
did
wanted
you
to
happen
see.
to have that on?
I keep it in my backpack. I just wear it in the
I love
front pocket
that.
of the backpack. But I wanted to see if I had a jersey patch card to show the screen, but I don't. There's no jersey patch cards.
I can bring some in next show.
You know what I always wonder with those jersey patch cards?
Oh, these are cool.
Who is the poor person that has to cut those jerseys up? Because they're game used jerseys. I would feel bad.
Oh, it's painful.
Oh, it looks cool in the card, but I remember the first time you showed me one because I'd never seen one before. It's okay. I've seen hockey cards. I love
doesn't give a
hockey
fuck.
cards. Listen, I used to love hockey cards. I don't care that much anymore.
He doesn't care about them.
But I remember thinking like, oh my God, like jerseys I think are like beautiful and like cutting through a patch and that sort of thing. Like that would, if I had to cut through a Toronto Maple Leafs patch, I would be in pain.
So
Physical pain.
Two stories there. One, if you've been watching my stuff for a very long time, we had the big red Canada couch for my Nike videos when I was at the Vancouver Olympics, and we had to cut up a Team Canada jersey to make it. Like we had to cut the patch off the jersey, and we made like a pact. It's like no one can know we did this. Like
Wow.
it was like disposing a body.
It was like the last time they had good jerseys too.
Dude.
Team Canada's jerseys since the 2010 Olympics have been a sorry, pitiful mess.
And we put the patch on the thing and the stripes, and no one was like, "Hey, they must have cut up a jersey to make that." But we were deeply ashamed at the
Wow.
very cool thing that we made. There was a controversy a few years ago because they did, I think it was game used goalie pad cards for George Vezina. Like, so these cards or these pads rather, are from like the 30s or whenever George Vezina played, and people are like, "Dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Those should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, they should.
Not in cards."
I'm gonna assume they had other other pads.
But
I mean,
even
they
so-
must have, but like, how many could they have had?
I like
The
the,
thing is that-
idea of a bunch of people owning a piece of it.
I get it,
Yes.
but I think
You know.
when
It was
you go
a
back-
discussion.
When you go
Yeah.
back that far, like today's hockey pads, the goalies are switching them out every game. George Vezina got one set of pads, and he probably had to pay for it himself
Goalies
per
still aren't-
season. And okay,
They're not switching them out every game.
fair enough, but also all that shit's biodegradable, right? It was the 30s, right? Whereas now, like that, some of that stuff, like if George, it's not inconceivable that George Vezina's pads in the Hockey Hall of Fame could like rot.
Well, yeah, I don't know the
and-
full story, so maybe half of the pad was destroyed.
Still,
or
that
something.
kills me. I just feel like that sort of thing. I totally get modern day shit. They have so much equipment. They have so many sticks, so many pads, so many. That's cool. But like something from 100 years ago is I don't know. It's just to me.
I have
there's only so
many,
much.
So many patch.
When we
cards.
went to wait, did we go to that or did I do that? I might have. I can't remember what I remember. That Leaf fan in Toronto. That that guy, the guy in Alberta who's got all that stuff in his basement.
Curtis from Alberta.
There was
Yeah,
a Leaf
Curtis.
fan in Toronto who had the same thing, and he was in like it was a very very nice house.
We didn't. do this.
Mike.
Did we do that?
No.
Okay,
I've
I'm
never
not-
been.
I've been to that house.
So I've been in that house. I went with the Toronto Maple Leafs when I did their podcast. I think I did a podcast in his basement, and he had jerseys there that were like Johnny Bauer from like 1960, and they're made of wool. And
He has like a door that's from the locker room, and it's signed by the team.
yeah,
Wow.
It like
Yeah.
That's sick.
He
One of
would
one.
he would talk about former Leafs coming to his house to see their shit.
Wow.
And what was cool about it is that like Johnny Bauer's jersey, for instance, Johnny Bauer had to give his jersey back at the end of the season.
Wow.
So that's why he would have had to go to his house to see it, because like you had number 27, you're Frank Mahovlich, you're giving it back. And oftentimes what they would do is they would pull the numbers off the jersey at the end of the season, give them to the next guy, whoever rolled in the door the next
No
year,
way.
and repack
Yeah,
it.
that's what we did in fucking AA baseball when
Yeah.
I was 14.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
You give back the jersey.
Were they
and you
felt?
reuse it.
Oh my god.
Isn't that nuts? Yeah. So I'm like, that stuff is like exceedingly rare.
I've had one of one card ever. It was a
You sold it, didn't you?
I did, but it was $60 and I needed it at the time. It was they did printing plate cards. So basically, I don't exactly know how the color scheme works, but you know how you can put like 3 colors on top of each other and it gives you every color. So they had that for a Mark Savard card that year. And I just pulled it out of a pack and I noticed it said 1/1.
What team?
Boston.
So it was a Max of AdCat.
It was a Max of AdCat
Okay.
and it was
Checking.
yellow
Okay.
and Boston.
Wow. Cool.
And my uncle,
Card.
who like traded stuff on eBay, he's got a bunch of cool shit. Sold it and I got $60 and I felt like Scrooge McDuck.
$60. That's good profit.
60 frickin' bucks.
Wow. Well, anyway, if you're interested, the NHL's NFT collection is available now. Now, Well,
Yeah,
Like right now.
You can go buy the preseason pack right now.
Yeah.
What if I didn't?
So, Josh Norris, before we talk about the news this morning, tell me what happened to Josh Norris last year. In a sentence.
He's a really good player, and he got hurt.
What happened to the Sens after Josh Norris got hurt?
They did poorly.
Right. So, how important is Josh Norris to the Ottawa Senators?
Very important.
So when TSN 1200 in Ottawa says no Josh Norris on ice for practice this morning in Truro, Nova Scotia, and Bruce Garriock says this isn't a good sign. Well,
It seems like a bad sign.
now DJ Smith said he's only had a bit of a setback. He won't play in Winnipeg, but they hope he can play Saturday in Montreal.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, okay. That's good news.
Yeah,
Right.
this doesn't sound so bad.
I mean, you want to get a game under you. What is the injury? Do we know?
I actually don't know.
I assume it's still the shoulder injury that only allowed him to play 8 games last year.
I freaking hope.
You know, because I feel like was like a year recovery, right? Damn. And he's probably just easing back into action now. He was in training camp and all that, and there's probably a little bit of a setback, so he's taking a couple days.
The issue with that is that he has not played a single preseason game.
Right. And
So
you don't.
he's at practice with a bunch of guys who are not trying to kill him.
There's that.
And then you're going to step on the ice with a bunch of guys that are trying to kill him.
Trying to kill you, especially like first week. Ah!
Yeah.
You know, there's that energy, and then they sort of settle down a little bit. Man, that's bad. It's good that Ridley Grigg has looked good, and he better look good on account of he has to replace Josh Norris and also Shane Pinto. It's not good.
I was thinking if Josh Norris does go on LTIR, they're saying he won't, but if he does,
I don't think so.
does that help them sign Shane Pinto immediately?
I need someone more clever than me.
It must.
Cap. I don't.
But then they
know
have to
if it
figure it
does.
out when he comes back.
I think it's just kicking the can down the road, which I suppose is okay.
Why not?
It's better than losing someone immediately. Man, they're flying real close to the sun. I'm not used to this out of the Ottawa Senators.
Usually a healthy team.
Well, usually a healthy team, but like they're the team that never spends to the cap. They're the team willing to take on your contracts, your shitty contracts, and bail you out in exchange for draft capital. Now it's a few years down the road. They have no cap space, and they're losing all their prior draft capital.
Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. But so yeah, Josh Norris not.
And for like context on the timelines here, he returned to training camp, or he started training camp with the team. And at the beginning, there were reports that he had tweaked the shoulder, and then he sat out practice a little bit, and then he had the no contact jersey in practice, and then he removed the no contact jersey and was finally doing contact, but still, like Adam said, no preseason games. And then now we get this today. So I wonder if he's been practicing without the no contact jersey on, and if moving around, he's realized that, hey, I'm a little further away. Maybe I'm a couple weeks back than where I thought I was going to be. So he needs just another week here to take some time. I don't think it's like major. I think he's still just getting used to a surgically repaired shoulder.
If it was major, they wouldn't say something like, "Oh yeah, we think he's going to play." You know what I mean? So
Because they want him to get into one preseason game before he plays a real NHL game.
they know that shoulder is going to take blows,
Yeah.
and they're just trying to limit the amount of blows, which is not a bad idea.
You know, mentally too, we don't talk about this enough with athletes. Like, I know a lot of them will like toss it out the window, be like, as soon as I get back in there, I'm ready to go. But for some, there's a mental hurdle about when you injure something and then you got to go back to full contact. You're thinking about it.
Of
And
course.
it's not
Of
like
course.
you're not overtly thinking about it, but it's subconscious.
Yeah.
I just had my shoulder surgically repaired, and now guys are going to be hitting me. You might be a little more tentative, and it's about getting back to just used to getting that contact where you're not even thinking about like, hey, my shoulder was injured for a year.
And it's not the injury, it's the recovery. You know what it took, right? And you don't want to go through that process again. Hearing like it sort of just got lost in the ether of the playoffs and the offseason, but when Roman Polak broke his leg against the Washington Capitals in the 2017 playoffs, he gave an interview about the recovery. It sounded fucking miserable. And that's just one of the things I've ever heard of. Like, we're not talking about a tendon. We're not talking about even getting back into game shape. We're talking about getting into just living as a human being, as like a dad.
Yeah.
Game shape. Like, that's the stuff that disturbs me.
Mm-hmm.
I can get over a millionaire not being able to, necessarily play in the highest level of hockey anymore.
Right.
I just shudder at the stories of guys who, they just want to play with their kids. I'm not saying that's what's going on. We're obviously drifting into a different conversation, but it gives me the shivers.
The only person who's ever said, "Hey, you know about that, like, recovering from an injury thing and rehabbing and all that, I'm just going to kick its ass," is Connor McDavid. When he was like, "I'm not going to go get surgery for this. I'm just going to rehab this with, like, stretching and yoga and just, like, strength training." And then he did it, and he's better than he's ever been.
Also, Brock Lesnar scaring his intestines into working again.
I don't know that story.
Yeah.
It's he had diverticulitis, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you might like need a colostomy bag." He's like, "What if I eat vegetables?" And then it just kind of healed itself. I'm dumbing the story down, but like, he's a mutant.
Yeah, McDavid willed his, what was it?
PCL.
PCL, yeah, back to health.
Aaron Rodgers said he was.
Oh my God.
Now,
Aaron Rodgers says,
yeah.
Oh,
I just thought I thought it was interesting, his interview yesterday with Pat McAfee, because I was, I find him, I've never seen a richer person who's more unhappy.
He just has this face.
Like, rich, famous, and hates everything. It's crazy, but
he has a face that articulates utmost pride in his lack of knowledge of anything.
Well, so it's interesting because he obviously, I'm going to leave the vaccine shit aside because I'm so tired of it.
It has nothing to do with that.
I don't care.
No,
It's literally his eyebrows.
No,
It's eyebrow placement.
So he and I know you weren't saying that. I'm just saying, like, that's where everybody goes, and I'm not fucking talking.
I mean,
about
I'm definitely saying that, but it has nothing to do with that.
He did say, and it reminded me of Erik Karlsson a bit, is that he was, I guess you're supposed to be in a boot traditionally after you do an Achilles for like 6 weeks. And I guess.
But what did Gwyneth Paltrow tell him?
He said, I was back in a shoe in 13 days. And he says, I think maybe I can play this year. I'm like, man.
Jesus.
Now he did say something that I usually agree with. It just depends on who's saying it. Just because it's never been done before doesn't mean it's impossible.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And you're in the NFL. Why wouldn't you think you would recover quicker than someone else?
Yep.
Karlsson came back at the end of an NHL season after suffering that at the beginning of an NHL season because of a skate blade. The NFL season's like half the length. So I'm skeptical of that. Also, but I do find that if they do that, I mean, that could be very interesting.
Karlsson was like a decade younger. Maybe more.
Could it do that?
Did you say that?
No, I didn't say that, but I think you're absolutely right. No, I'm just laughing because it seems like that's the other thing, is that like he's 39, right?
Yeah.
And it's different, man. But I'm curious about it.
Optimism's fine.
Yeah, for sure.
I prefer when it's based in something, but yeah.
Yeah, listen. I want to talk about this. And I want to talk about the reaction to this, okay? The reaction to this, and we're going to stay on the Senators, the reaction to what happened the last, 4 or 5 days with the Ottawa Senators and asset management has been a story. We mentioned on Monday that Lassie Thompson, former first-round pick, and I believe 2019 for the Senators.
4 years ago.
Was waived. The Anaheim Ducks, I believe, claimed him. Right now, Jacob Bernard Docker and Igor Sokolov are both on waivers. It was announced like 12 hours before they were even going to go on waivers that they would be on waivers, which is, I've never seen a PR statement for who's going to be on waivers.
It was very weird to receive those tweet notifications the night before.
Well, because teams can guess who you're going to put on waivers. Mm-hmm. They don't necessarily know when it's going to happen, but also let them guess.
Sure.
If you let them guess, then they have 24 hours to get their ducks in a row and make a claim.
Now, why is that interesting? Well, Jacob Bernard Docker was the 26th overall pick in 2018. And So that's 2 first-round picks in a row, and then Igor Sokolov, the second-round pick, 61st overall, 2020 Ottawa Senators draft. Now, the 2020 draft was a bit weird, too. So we'll give you that.
Yep. Because of COVID, yeah.
Yeah.
And no relation to Sokolov lawyers, the personal injury lawyers in Toronto.
You don't know that.
We actually don't.
Yeah, I don't know that.
You don't know that.
You made that up.
Yeah.
They could be related to Sokolov lawyers.
Don't put it off. Call Sokolov.
Hey!
All I'm saying is, what's been fascinating is this. Okay, you have people from outside of the Ottawa market who have whatever their reactions are. I've seen 2 reactions from Sens fans. The vast majority is whatever their shit, let them go. They couldn't crack the lineup. The vast majority. A smaller minority are saying, hey, this seems like a bit of an issue. Now, to me, and maybe I'm just one of the outsiders that doesn't know shit, as I was called for liking the Jake Sanderson deal, a Senators fan called me a troglodyte because I didn't like it enough. So you have to remember what you're dealing with here, right? It's okay for you to admit that your team is fucking up. And my question here is,
kind of my thing.
Are the Ottawa Senators fucking up? We know that Travis Hamonic got a no move clause on a $1.1 million extension that he signed July 3rd.
But there's no justification for
The
that.
Senators had to have him so bad. And if you were going to be under $1.35 million, Travis Hamonic's like, I don't want to go to the AHL, so I want my no movement clause.
And like, I understand why he would want that.
So if you're Pierre Dorion, what do you say to that?
You don't sign him. Oh, well, unfortunately, there isn't a situation here that makes sense for us. Best of luck in your endeavors. You don't wish the guy ill. You don't got to kick him out the door. I'm sorry, our hockey team can't operate like that. Take care.
But Steve, if Travis Hamonic is better than Lassie Thompson, is better than Jacob Bernard-Docker and Igor Sokolov combined, and I'm singling out Hamonic, but I also think Kubalik and his getting him back from Detroit also plays into this, because again, this all plays into the fact that Shane Pinto cannot be signed and they're right up against the cap.
Yeah.
Kubalik, another guy they didn't need when they were going to bring in Tarasenko anyway. I'm curious about how this asset, man, maybe if none of these guys ever play a game, does it matter?
I mean, I see 2 options here for the Sens.
Okay.
Either you're fucking up or you fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Either way, you're fucking up. You're either fucking up now or you fucked up before. You have 2 first-round picks who are waiver cannon fodder. You fucked up. That's not a great pick, man.
So is it that they fucked up on the waiver, or is it they fucked up on the draft?
That's what I'm asking. I personally think they're fucking up on the waiver because all 3 of those guys are NHL players. At minimum, Lassie Thompson is an NHL player.
But the Senators are saying he's not.
Right.
He didn't make the team.
They're fucking up then.
They're saying, hey, Anaheim, you got somebody who's not worth that.
Right.
That first round pick.
Yeah.
19th overall.
That's why, like, you know, we're in the middle. We're actually going to wrap up our season previews. And, like, there are just these teams that should just hang around, especially now, like, because we're in this funky situation with the cap, probably still be next year. If you're a bottom 5 team with aspirations of being a little bit better than that, you can just hang around and like just steal all these players. You just got Lassie Thompson. You just got a free former first-round pick.
Lottery ticket at this point.
4 years after getting drafted, he's 22 and he's already played in the NHL. It sounds like a worthwhile risk to me, especially since we're the Ducks and we don't have anybody.
Is it a question of, because you got to pay these guys, is it a question of just straight up clearing salary? Even though, forget the salary cap. I'm talking about real dollars.
Are both those players from the 2020 draft?
I don't know what
Sokolov's 2020.
Sokolov.
Bernard Docker is 18 and Lassie Thompson is 19.
Okay, because, yeah, Sokolov's from the second round pick in the 2020 draft. Yeah.
It's 2 firsts and a second.
But in the 2020 draft, they hit on their first 3 picks.
Yeah.
It was
Yes.
Stützle, Sanderson, and Greg. So I feel like if they're looking at their assets and they're saying, if we lose Sokolov, it's not that big of a deal.
That's a terrible way to do business.
But I'm like, okay, I'm trying to reason with it.
Yeah, you're trying to figure out what the reasoning would be.
Yeah. And maybe Sokolov isn't good enough.
Right, but
because there's a whole bunch of guys around him that they took because they had so many picks in 2020 that losing Sokolov probably isn't a big deal.
They didn't draft Travis Hamonic at the 2020 draft, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
I understand the logic.
What about the other 6 guys who were taken around Sokolov? We're not all here making a big deal about them. Maybe Sokolov is in that group and he's not going to be missed.
Sokolov probably has the least likelihood of working out of the 3 guys they put on waivers. Thompson, I think, is going to be a pensioned NHL player. He's going to play 200 plus games. And Bernard Docker is fascinating to me. I don't think it's acceptable to just be well, we have lots of guys, so it's fine. Mm-hmm. If you were to approach the Senators in a trade and just call them up.
Okay.
We would like Jacob Bernard Docker. What do you think the Sens ask for him? Or we would like Lassie Thompson in a trade. Mm-hmm. We'll start there because he's the only guy that we know they've lost. Sokolov might clear. Bernard Docker might clear. I don't think they both clear, but I think maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. A first-round pick from 2018, they probably look at it.
He's 2019.
Bernard Docker's 2018.
No, sorry. Because I switched. Lassie Thompson, 2019.
Okay, no, but you want for the trade for that? I was looking at Bernard Docker from 2018, and that's enough time that they probably should know what he is.
Yeah, it's like Ty Smith with the Penguins, and people went whoa, and then clear.
So 1 year difference with Lassie Thompson, they probably know what he is. You're probably fetching a 4th if you're making a deal like that.
Even that, we criticized Dubas for not taking a 6th round pick for Zach Hyman's rights. If you have the opportunity to get a 4th, I would argue probably more than that for a player, and you just fucking lose them for nothing. It's kind of bad, man.
Also,
there's no positive way to look at this.
If that's what was out there, don't you think they would have done that deal? I assume that's not out there.
Well, I'm sure there's nothing out there.
Yeah, that's probably not out there, too, because no team would give them that relief. They wouldn't give them that handout.
Generally, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
But they seem genuinely unprepared for the beginning of the season. Case in point, Shane Pinto.
Yeah.
Right. And there are reports that at least in some circles, Sokolov outplayed people like Josh Bailey. And Zach McEwen and some of the other players that are there, their depth options, right? No one's questioning, I don't think anyone serious is questioning the top end talent of the Senators, right?
No. Mm-hmm.
Everybody. So to me, and we'll talk about this a little bit in our season previews and stuff that come out this weekend. We need health. Obviously, we need Josh Norris healthy specifically. That top 6 is really, really good, and they're very, very productive. It's the depth that is going to be a problem, and so. Or could be a problem if everything doesn't work out, if everything doesn't go to plan. And I wonder about, I just wonder about asset management in that sense. If these guys never play again, you're right, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. And if you're a Sens fan, you're not hoping for them never to play again, but you're probably saying, well, trust our GM. He's done a pretty good job turning it around despite the chaos, and he has. He's made some questionable moves, for sure. Travis Hamonic on a no-move clause. I'm sorry, it's unforgivable. You can tell me that was a good idea.
No
it wasn't.
Justification.
You can do anything else but do that, and they did it. And on a 2-year deal, by the way. I think,
no justification.
I think, though, that we need, in Ottawa, you need as many lottery tickets as possible in the depth categories. Mm-hmm. As many as possible.
Now,
you had some injuries last year, and you did not have people that really established themselves, and Shane Pinto's not in the lineup. But you need that.
But it's more interesting than the lottery ticket thing, mm-hmm. because it's like having all these lottery tickets, winning on one and throwing it away.
Right.
But
the whole point of getting a bunch of lottery tickets is you want to hit on a bunch of them, but they're throwing away ones that they hit on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the argument is the staff knows the guys.
Yep.
And that these guys, what if they're right? Like, what if Pierre Dorion is right in that Lassie Thompson isn't a regular NHLer and that we can throw him away?
Sens fans might let us know about it.
Yeah. So there's also the side that these guys could be right about all of these possible draft picks that we think they're throwing away these lottery tickets. They might not have hit on them. They could be ones that end up in the garbage. And you look at back in the first round of 2017, they drafted Shane Bowers. Shane Bowers has one career NHL game. That's if
He
we're
hasn't been awesome in the A.
if we're sitting here let's pretend we're doing the podcast and we wind back to 2019 and the Ottawa Senators let Shane Bowers go on waivers, and we're like, how could they do that? That's a first round pick, 28th overall, and it turns out that Shane Bowers isn't going to be NHL ready. You know, he's not going to be an everyday NHLer, and then they ended up being right about losing that asset. So I'm just saying there's a possibility that we sit here 3 years from now and all of these names that were humming and hawing over that the Ottawa Senators are dropping to waivers, they could be right about that.
Oh,
And yeah,
3 months.
There's a possibility.
I think
Let's not rule that out.
I think there's
No,
a very
of
good
course,
possibility.
of course.
Very good possibility. Because most of the time, most people that try to make the NHL, and this will blow your fucking mind, don't make it.
What?
Most people.
I don't believe it.
It's crazy. But there's a guy, Maxence Gwinnett, who I believe is going to be their 7th defenseman. That guy was really, really good, and I wonder if they're clearing the way for him. I still, man, I don't understand the need to have Travis Hamonic. I think just like we irrationally love players, like Jesse irrationally loves Ville Husso. Irrationally loves him. He's good, but Jesse irrationally loves him. Yeah. Who's your irrational love? Mine is Andre Palat. I love Andre Palat.
Nola Chari.
Nola Chari.
Sad he's gone.
The roadmap knows. I love him.
Yeah.
He was my favorite, man. He was so great. He was so cool.
Harry Potter scar ass nose.
I think you have Pierre Dorion's irrational love. He loves Travis Hamonic. He spent a third to get him. He's kept him here for now. I think the 3rd year he's going to have
I think
him.
one of the Piers did.
Oh, yeah, maybe Maguire. Well, I think we know which Pierre it was because this Pierre signed him to the extension with a no-move clause.
You're not wrong.
So all that is to say, this could come to nothing. But in a traditional sense, Jesse, do you need the remote?
Not that one. That doesn't help.
Not that remote. In a traditional sense, is it possible that they've messed up here? Is this traditionally how you manage assets? And that is really the question.
I mean,
I know it's boring, and I know you want us to dunk on the Sens and stuff. The reality is we don't know how good these players are, or bad.
I mean, either it wasn't a very good pick at the time, or you're fucking up right now. Again, binary to me.
Okay.
2 options.
And people fuck up picks.
Yes, but even
Like
if
the Leafs
it's,
did draft Freddie the Goat in the 1st round.
if it's
Hundreds
a good
of players don't make the NHL every year.
If it's a good
Hundreds of
idea, now,
thousands.
yeah, but waiver.
I'm still trying.
Waiver wire, it's either a good idea now that is born from a bad one, or it's a bad idea. That's all.
All right. Well, we'll see how it goes. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp, and we've talked many, many times about how therapy has helped us all, especially, you know what, I think there's group therapy in watching sports, but there's singular therapy in taking care of your mind. And obviously, as we get back into the swing of things in the fall, people are talking about the grind, getting back into the grind, and they're excited for the grind. But
September
the
scaries.
grind,
Now here we are in October.
that September scaries. I hadn't even thought about that.
Oh yeah, every year I get them.
Really?
Every year.
That back to school feeling.
Yeah.
That, hey, everything's picking up again feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, it can be at the beginning, the end. Oh yeah.
Well, and I was just going to say that the grind the reason we call it a grind is because it grinds you down. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it can get a little dark. And if you want to take care of your head, BetterHelp might be a place for you to check out. Obviously.
What if your head is really large?
Even then, like the two of us, our gigantic heads can fit into BetterHelp. You have a big head too?
I think we all have giant heads.
Anyway, long story short, match with a therapist within 48 hours, which is really great. It's cheaper than most therapy, traditionally anyway. It's also available over text. It's available over video call. It's really phone call, whatever way works for you. It's kind of up to you, and we want you to try it out and get 10% off your first month. BetterHelp.com/SDP today. 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/SDP. Take care of your mental health. Okay, so something else came out, guys, and I wanted to ask you about it and get your thoughts. Okay. One of the things that is like a big deal every single year is the cover athlete for EA Sports NHL, right?
Yes.
You know, last year it was Kia Nurse and Trevor Zegras.
Sarah Nurse.
Sorry, Sarah Nurse. Excuse me. Kia Nurse is the basketball player. Sarah Nurse, the hockey player. And that was a really cool shot. It was also like them in the rollerblades, and it's very casual and like California and fun, right?
It's fun.
Yeah,
Fun.
I enjoyed it. And sometimes in the past, like Austin Matthews had it for a couple of years, and it honestly, I think they overly colored up his it didn't, to me, those covers were not great.
There was one cover where they did something weird to like his head and neck.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to call it Photoshop, but there was some sort of edit, right? What do we think of Cale Makar? And because he is the cover athlete this year.
Good choice.
So that's one of them right there.
Yeah.
On screen. Okay. Yeah. And then we've got there's an X Factor edition, which I've just sent to Jesse.
No.
Oh, and it doesn't seem to be working.
I had it here.
Okay. Well, Jesse will bring it up in a second.
Would have worked on Twitter.
I know.
Doesn't work on X.
Twitter's broken. All right, guys.
So obviously there's the one where, you know, he's stopping, and that's kind of a cool shot.
Yeah.
Shoot him up. He looks like a giant.
The ice goes.
Right. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because producer Drew, noted lover of all things Avalanche, despite, you know, not everything Avalanche is great,
Right.
hates this cover.
He hates a cover with Cale Makar on it.
Does.
I was going to blow this up and give it to him for Christmas and burn it in front of him.
Well, exactly. And I think you should. You should bully him for this. But I do, I wanted to get your thoughts on the aesthetic and see what you could do. See what we do with it. Jesse, are we good to go? Is it still not working?
No, I can't get the Twitter one. And the one that Drew replied to isn't the same as the one that's in the release, the launch.
That's right, because it's the X Factor edition.
Yeah. But they also have a different cover for the X Factor edition.
Okay, so what do we think of that one?
What did they do to his butt?
What do you mean?
I think it looks like a strong butt.
Look at it over here. Maybe the shadows are a little different.
What is going?
It's kind of normal.
Oh, I was about to say on that TV, like his stick is invisible.
Yeah, no, I think you're just, the shadows are a little off there.
I don't know. It's fine.
Yeah.
The X Factor. Why is it's like X Factor Ed? Like the way
The way the font's read. Yeah. I just wondered.
Factor Ed.
They made a specific effort to have action shots in, right? Like real action shots. And the other one that I was trying to bring up is it's on Twitter right now under the EA Sports NHL account if you want to see it. It's Cale Makar flipping a puck up in the air like this. It looks like that. Drew hates that one. Why? I wonder.
I couldn't tell you why.
It looks fine to me.
It looks fine.
And I thought I'd ask my friends who care a little bit more about the cover about the NHL. Because to me, it's like, okay, the California thing was really cool. Like, I thought it was different and fun. This seems to be more return to tradition. And people get really heated about this stuff.
See, I thought there was going to be some major flaw with the cover. that you
No,
were
there
about to
wasn't.
Show me, and it's literally just they don't like it.
Here, I got this one, the one you're talking
All right,
about.
yeah, there it
also,
is.
I don't think this isn't a cover. I think this is just a promo shot.
Okay, well,
The other one is the X Factor edition cover.
I thought this was the X Factor edition cover because
Yeah.
that's the way. Because the EA Sports account tweeted it like that, so I thought it was, but I'm wrong.
I think that one's okay. The one of him taking a shot with his weird
Clenchy butt.
PS2 butt, right? Like it's clunky. There's a lot of edges.
Okay,
You know, you never hear like, "Oh, I love your edges."
okay.
No, it's I love your curves.
The other thing I wanted to ask you guys, moving on from the cover, is Mark Scheig, who is a reporter for the Columbus Blue Jackets for the Hockey Writers. He said on an ESPN call, ESPN say they have a version of Red Zone on ESPN and ESPN2 the night all 32 teams play. It will be called Frozen Frenzy. It will not include anything from ice surfing, Steve. I'm really sorry to hear that. Jay Onright also said, this is awesome when we did it 22 years ago on the NHL Network. I'm sure we'll get our due credit. So there are no new ideas.
Yeah,
So
and
to be fair,
I didn't like people acting like it was. It was a little
acting like it was a new
It was a
idea.
little disrespectful to you, Steve, and the
Ice
fine folks
surfing?
at Sportsnet who did ice surfing, and the people even before that, like court surfing, which is where they got the idea for ice surfing.
Yeah.
And they did this thing a whole bunch of years ago with hockey, and they tried it, and it didn't really work, and they got rid of it. But then everybody came out praising ESPN for this idea. Like it doesn't make sense.
I had a flurry of emotion when I saw this. I'm going to be honest. Like first, I was happy that they're doing the idea because it's a good idea. This league takes a lot of criticism, and the broadcasters that cover the league take a lot of criticism because they haven't been up to scratch, to be honest. And this is a really good idea that people were excited about, which is not something we get often enough with the NHL. So I was happy about that. Another part of me was like not even hamming it up, profoundly sad.
Really? Why?
Yeah, because ice surfing was a great idea. It was
As evidenced by everybody being happy about the carbon copy.
yes. Everyone was happy about the carbon copy because they're doing it on what?
On TV. This is the thing. My thing was never the content of ice surfing. It was that it was on Twitter Live.
Yeah, because everyone, again, I'm not criticizing Sportsnet. They had a deal with Twitter. That's how the show got done. So that's why it was on Twitter. But we said the idea of ice surfing to people, and people were like, fuck yeah, that's awesome. And it's going to be on Twitter. Fuck no, I'm not watching that. And this is like pre-Elon Twitter. The video numbers for Twitter are nonsense.
Well, how do they work? Explain that to people.
Facebook and Twitter, I can't remember which is which, but one of them calculates a view after 2 seconds and one of them counts it after 3. And you find this broadcast by scrolling through your timeline. It's nonsense. YouTube is 30 seconds. And it's funny. You guys are like, why wasn't this on TV? And I agree. But the biased part of me was like, YouTube! Make it available on YouTube. What are you doing with this Twitter
but
bullshit?
YouTube wasn't stepping up to the plate to pay Sportsnet to pay for the show.
Yes, but more people would have seen it, and advertisers pay to get things in front of people's eyes. What the fuck are you doing?
No, but if you're an exec, you look at it like, well, there's no guarantee of that.
It made me so sad because there's this idea that they're going to do that's going to be successful, and it's going to be successful for a really long time. And I feel like I was part of its predecessor, and it's gone.
Well, and Onright was before a part of his predecessor 2 decades ago.
He did okay.
Yeah, he did all right.
He did okay.
Jay's had a good career.
Yeah,
he's outstanding. No, but
I'm still less than a decade out of my parents' house.
It's the one thing I will say that I think is super positive. It's nice to see ESPN innovating with their hockey content. They do they do some amazing stuff with College Game Day. They do amazing stuff with the NFL, even with baseball and basketball, of course. But I think the last year was really just about getting it on the air, and now they're going to try stuff.
The surviving phase is over. It's now about thriving.
Get it out. Great.
October 24th is the first time they're going to try it out. They're only trying it out on nights when all 32 teams play, which I guess makes a little sense because, if there's 2 games on and you're trying to do ice surfing with it, doesn't really make sense.
If you think about it, though, you could do that. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Jesse. On the nights where there's two or whatever, but the Wednesdays and the Saturdays are like the national nights.
Those are the big
hockey,
days,
right?
Yeah.
You could at least do it 2 nights a week, don't you think?
Sure, but they gotta do a trial run first. We gotta work our way up to that point. You gotta walk before you sprint. You gotta get into a little jog first. So they're gonna try it with the 32 team days, which in the first one's October 24th. So that's the day to watch.
Which is I don't know if it'll be an accurate representation of what the product is gonna end up being. 15 games is insane. It's a lot. And
16,
sorry. Oh my God.
32 teams.
Even worse. I hope the behind the scenes crew knows what they've signed up for.
It's not all at once, though. Like
They're switching.
It's not every. It's no, like all 16 games aren't a 1:00 start or 7 p.m. start Eastern. It's the 16. The way the schedule is, they're all played throughout the day. So
Yeah,
I don't
but-
know how many games start at the same time on that day.
Well, they do it
Every-
with football, so I'm sure they can figure it out.
Every night we did ice surfing started with this isn't so bad, this isn't so, and then by 9:00 you're tearing your hair out because there's so many games that are just starting. They're in the second period, they're in the third period, they're in the oh my god, and we put on an unreal product. Fuck.
I think staggered starts.
I wish we gave it a better.
I think
shot.
that's the reason the NHL moved to staggered starts this year, and they are. They certain games are going to start like 5 minutes after one, and then 10 minutes after another, and then 15 minutes after that one, and
Believe it or not, ESPN's good at this.
yeah, they are.
I assume they said, "What are we doing here? This is stupid."
Sure.
So they staggered it.
I don't know. I think I'm excited to watch it. I think there's a good talent lineup. It should be fun, and it's nice to see hockey come into this century. You know what I mean? Red Zone has been around a long, long time. I think it's time for this stuff.
I definitely got a text from someone who I worked with on ice surfing who was like, "Huh, that seems familiar."
I think it could work in Canada too. Like, I really think you could have a Wednesday night stream where, there's Wednesday night hockey, right? The Leafs are usually on that. If you're a Leaf fan, you watch that. But if let's say your team isn't on it and you want something to watch, if there's 5 or 6 games on, that's a doable show. That could be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
this is.
I'm sad. I'm not gonna lie. I'm bummed.
I'm looking at the October 24th schedule, and it's primed and ripe and ready to go for this. Like, they're all late afternoon Eastern time starts. So like it kicks off with Maple Leafs Capitals. I assume this is Eastern time. Maybe
6 p.m.
Maybe it's I have like on Central time. Maybe that's supposed to be 7, and all the other ones are adjusted. But let's assume it's 6:00. Which that doesn't make sense.
No, it does. I think
On a Saturday?
On a Saturday, sure. Yeah, because I think they'd be a little more reticent during the week, but I could see the Leafs starting at 6 on a Saturday. Sure, why not?
I mean, in order to stagger the starts for a friggin' 32-team league, you're gonna have to start
Somebody's got
earlier than 7. Yeah,
And if you're on the West Coast, man, that's awesome. Hockey starts at 2.
Okay, so
I've always thought it'd be so good.
October 24th is a Tuesday. So that's
even better.
That's why it's a 6 p.m. start. Because Saturday it wouldn't make sense, you guys. It's Hockey Night in Canada. The Leafs wouldn't start at 6.
I guess, but they do Hockey Day in Canada, right?
Yeah, so this makes a lot more sense. This is a Tuesday, October 24th. It kicks off with Leafs at 6 p.m. in Washington. And then you run it down, and there's a lot of fun games. Buffalo, Ottawa, Carolina, Tampa, Pittsburgh, Dallas. Like, that's going to be a good
San
one.
Jose, Florida. That's the one.
That's probably doesn't make...
Bruins, Blackhawks, because you got to get the obligatory original 6 matchup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even Edmonton, Minnesota should be decent. Calgary, New York. So they'll be running through all these games, and yeah, they've staggered every single start. It's 6, 6:30, 6:45, 7, 7:15, 7:30, 7:45, 8, 8:15. Wow, great
Flyers,
job, NHL.
Golden Knights starts at 11.
If they refine
They've
this,
finally done something.
if they're able to refine this concept, because here's what I'm seeing a lot on that schedule.
Yeah.
Jesse, I appreciate your positivity, but no one gives a fuck about the Kraken Red Wings game. No one cares about the Flyers Golden Knights. We all know.
Every game can't be
I'm
banger.
tuning into Ducks, Blue Jackets.
Here's how you refine it even better. And this is what I'd be aiming for next year, right? Because this is going to work. This red zone thing is going to work.
Yeah.
I would say it's an all-division day. So it's like you call it Division Day, and you have it a few times a year, and everybody is playing somebody in their division.
It's probably harder to stagger the times that way.
Why?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, because you got to get the teams on a different I don't know. I guess the schedule makers could figure it out.
There's a lot of
There's interconference
conference.
shit. That's harder.
Yeah.
That's way harder. All the the NHL stuff is based on geography, right? So each division is relatively close, except for some of the West teams.
It's funny now that you mention it. Almost none of these games are in their own division.
Interdivisional.
It's a
I
lot
didn't
of,
even notice
and
that.
it's not even intra-conference. A lot of them are East versus West.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my thinking is, okay, so this is great. Whatever. You start with what you have. But eventually what you want to do is you want to make these games mean something. Like even more than just a normal Tuesday night game. You want it to be, because listen, Kraken fans and Detroit fans care about a Kraken-Detroit Tuesday night game. I get that. I'm a Leaf fan. I care about every game.
That's going to be a good game. Ville Husso shutout. I'm calling it right now.
It's going to be just...
DeBrincat hat trick. Feeds by Larkin.
Flames Rangers. Which team will prove they're not actually bad? You know what I mean? Like it's like the Kings and Coyotes. There's not even are they division? No, they're not. Even
no,
division.
they're not.
No,
I
they're
keep
not.
confusing the Coyotes.
So if you can get it into the division, I think that makes it even more exciting. And I get that it's a Tuesday. I'm saying you do it on a Wednesday, you do it on a Saturday, whatever it is, but you call it like division night. Let's go. And it's like a whole bunch of just rivals going at it. But I really like this idea. I love that ESPN's doing it. I love the NHL's on board.
And you
This is
hate
it.
Kraken Red Wings.
I just picked that game.
I looked at that game and I'm like, oh, that's kind of neat.
I don't know
And
why
Adam-
you hate Seattle and Detroit so much.
I don't know. I just picked them. Like, do you? Okay. All right. Let's Avalanche Islanders. Now I'm just there's a rivalry that goes way back.
the Devon Taves Derby.
Yeah. Hey.
I'm going to make each of these
Let's
interesting.
make every game matter. Steve,
Okay.
starting with
All right,
Maple Leafs Capitals.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Maple Leafs Capitals,
Yeah.
you have the Leafs taking on Alexander Ovechkin. That's an easy set.
Okay.
No. 2016 Revenge Tour?
Yeah, 17.
Oh,
2017 sorry,
2017
Revenge Tour.
Yes.
That's the
Okay,
game.
Ducks Blue Jackets. Good luck.
Ducks Blue Jackets. Winner gets Eric Branson.
No, you have to
the
make it
Mike
make-
Babcock Bowl.
Oh, where his career
Adam, I'm
began
doing this.
All
and
right.
where it
All
ended,
right.
and also
Jesse.
Leo Carlson versus Adam Fantilli.
I love that. Okay,
There
all
you
right.
go.
Sabres Senators, actually a division matchup.
Yeah, so that one's easy.
Hurricanes Lightning.
I mean, Jesus, you don't have to sell me too hard on two teams that are just really fucking good.
One dynasty versus a potential, maybe?
Ooh,
Because I think
that.
Carolina is good enough to be that kind of team.
The present versus the new present.
Devils versus Canadians. Make that game matter.
Oh boy. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that one's difficult, but you got a lot of young firepower in that one, so I'm gonna promote the shit out of Jack Hughes and Cole Caulfield.
Okay. Stars Penguins.
Winner gets Jamie Oleksiak.
No, make it matter.
Okay, that one, I'm not gonna lie, I struggle, but
That shouldn't be the case.
it's Sidney Crosby. It's Sidney Crosby. He
you're not.
he sells himself.
You're right.
It's Sidney Crosby, and especially to an American audience, Sidney Crosby is an easy sell no matter what, and the Dallas Stars are a high octane.
All right.
Yeah, but I want something like between the two.
Yeah.
Like I want them to fight.
I can watch Sidney Crosby play 81 other times.
I can't make that happen. I can't do it.
He's bailing.
I'm bailing on that
All
one.
right. Here's one that's even harder: the Sharks and Panthers.
If anyone on the TV, here's how it works, and here's how you cut some salary, ESPN.
Okay.
Anyone mentions a player who's not Matthew Tkachuk, you fire him on the spot.
That's the same thing with the Crosby
Steve,
thing.
make the game matter though.
Winner
cannot.
gets Joe Thornton's beard.
Okay. Ooh, I like that.
There you go.
I'll take that. Avalanche Islanders.
That one is a battle of two really good young Russian goaltenders, Alexander Georgiev,
Okay.
Ilya Sorokin.
I like the Devontae.
The Devon Taves derby. I mean, you have the Islanders who are probably sick of hearing this guy's name, and Taves who's out there trying to get $10 million a year.
Kraken Red Wings, the game that I will now have to watch because I've riffed on it.
You're not watching that. Leafs are playing.
Oh, at least you're playing. Yeah.
One of the few teams that Jared McCann hasn't played for in his young career. Daniel Sprong.
I got one.
Daniel Sprong
I got
faces
one.
his former team.
Justin Hall versus the guy the Leafs gave up on Justin Hall for.
Hey, there you go.
Hey.
You got it.
Bruins Blackhawks.
Original six. That
That
Blues Jets.
That is one of, I think, 3 interdivisional games. So they're going to be fighting
good.
each other for a playoff spot.
Oilers Wild.
This could potentially be a first-round matchup
Oh,
in the playoffs. That's how I pitched that one. And it's Connor McDavid.
Canucks Preds.
McDavid versus Kaprizov. Canucks Preds. Oh, man. Do you have axes to grind from 12 years ago? Well, get ready for this rematch of the second round from 2011 as the Canucks take on the...
Yeah, I think that was the Radulov year.
I like that.
That was
Kostitsin brothers and
that was the series that Ryan Kessler won on his own and then had no more gas in the tank.
Flames Rangers.
You got 2 really good goalies who are looking to have a rebound year after an off year in Igor Shesterkin and Jake Markstrom. And Hope you enjoy it.
Who was the
Adam Fox.
defenseman that went
Oh,
from
that's
New
Blake
York?
Coleman versus Barclay Goodrow. They used to be teammates, and now they're playing against.
you go.
Well, they're
Okay,
playing
I like
revenge
that.
game. Every game's a revenge game against Adam Fox, who I believe they drafted. Did they not?
There you go.
Kings.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking about.
Or did Carolina draft him and then trade him to Calgary? I don't know.
No, it was Calgary traded him to Carolina, traded him to
New York.
New York.
Because he wouldn't play.
There you go.
Kings Coyotes. Make it matter.
There's a defenseman there.
Alan Walsh is going to be losing his mind for this game as Sean Dursey goes for a hat trick against his former team.
Love it. I love
Yes.
it. And then lastly,
And it's in LA, so there will be people.
Flyers, Golden Knights.
Hey, are you a sadist who likes watching one team beat the fuck out of the other 11-0? Then you'll love this game
Here's
at
what
11
I'll call it.
o'clock.
I'll call it Broad Street Bullied.
Whoa!
Because the Flyers aren't bullies anymore.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, let's go with that. And the game is going to be played inside the Sphere. I don't know why they didn't promote that.
I love that sphere.
That's so cool.
That sphere is the coolest thing on earth. You know, Montreal company built it.
I do.
Yeah,
Isn't
I
that
saw that
neat?
on Twitter the other day. That's,
Saint Hubert?
that's fucking so cool.
Not Saint Hubert. Saint
No?
Hubert did not. There are more Montreal companies than that.
Name them.
Yeah, well, not as important, but
Name
I
all.
do
Schwartz's.
think the U2 concert looked crazy
Yeah.
In
Like-
Montreal or Vegas?
in Vegas.
Oh, okay.
Also, did you see it yesterday? They've just had a happy face on it that was giving people the
Yeah.
eye.
So it watches the
Terrifying.
train go by. Do you see that one?
No.
So yeah, there's like a rail that goes by in front of it, and the happy face is just watching it, the train.
Oh, that's cool.
It's the coolest thing on earth. That
So
sphere.
smart that Vegas did that.
Yeah.
Okay, so listen, with all that, let's do a quick press conference.
I can't hit the button.
Can't hit the press conference button.
First question: what's more impressive, the pyramids or the sphere?
Pyramids.
Pyramids, because we know how they built the Sphere.
We know how they built the pyramids.
Yeah, but
Aliens,
if
duh.
you ask people how they did it, they still don't know. A few smart people know, but most people are like, they don't even know how they did it.
I think
That Ancient Aliens show caused a lot more problems than I think History Channel thought it would.
Yeah.
I thought they just were like, you know what? These are a bunch of idiots. We'll put them on TV. They didn't realize the deep threads that connected to on the darkest places of the internet.
Dude, that fucking show is on an alarming amount of the time when I go to my parents' house.
Yeah, it's cheap programming.
I'm just
man.
like, guys, what are you doing?
If you
are
took-
they watching it?
Was
Oh, I thought it was just on the History Channel a lot.
Yeah, which is like, can we all like have a class action lawsuit against that channel for having nothing to do with legitimate history?
Well,
It's false advertising to all of
It's
us.
that and Ice Road Truckers.
Another weird show. where
Not
I'm
on the History Channel. Why on the
are we
History?
all watching this?
Yeah, Jesse, go ahead. Sorry.
If you took somebody from 2550 BC when the pyramids were built and you dropped them into modern day, would they not be more impressed by the sphere than we would going back to 2550 BC and be impressed by the pyramid?
Oh, the thing that glows and winks at you and follows objects? No, they probably try to kill it.
So isn't the sphere more impressive?
I mean, here's what I will say. The pyramids, as you see them today, are not what they were. What they were was covered in marble. Every single piece of marble has been stripped from those, but those pyramids used to be white. They used to reflect the sun, and they also used to be in line with some sort of constellation, and I don't know why, but there's Egyptians. And that's not ancient alien shit. That's real shit.
I've never heard
the pyramids
that.
used to be flat. Like they were obviously like the sides. So you see at the sides of the pyramids there that you could step up them.
Yeah.
Right? You play Assassin's Creed, it can run up the side of one of those.
Yeah.
It used to be just marble on the side. So if you
Like
look
slick.
like slicked all the way down, like a countertop.
Yeah.
But on an angle. And so the pyramids to me are outrageously impressive. The sphere is very cool too.
The sphere can be an eyeball.
Yeah, it can.
Like,
and
Maybe
listen,
the pyramids were.
It could be a giant basketball. It could be anything you can imagine.
Sure, totally. I just feel like the pyramids, given the technological, okay, when Julius Caesar went to Egypt, the pyramids were building them was further away from him than he is from us.
Yeah,
Yes.
the one I keep seeing is Cleopatra was born closer to the invention of the iPhone than she was to the.
So that's why I think
pyramids.
I think the pyramids are more
sphere
impressive.
is what is it? 5,000 years of technological innovation leads to this endpoint.
It does.
Like everything that leads up to that, you're dismissing all of the advances in technology that have taken place over 5,000 years to get to the point where we have this giant sphere in the middle of a desert.
Everything is more impressive. Pop rocks. Give an ancient Egyptian pop rocks.
I think that's kind of how we should look at it. The iPhone is kind of more impressive.
All right. Let's put it in hockey terms. If you took, like, people were overawed by Wayne Gretzky, and they should have been. 215 points in a season. Crazy.
Right.
He didn't win the cup that year. Okay? It's nuts.
Piece of garbage.
He won, so he got
Let's not
that.
name the leadership trophy after him.
But Jesse, what you're suggesting is like bringing Connor McDavid with all the updated equipment, with the years of training, not in a backyard ice rink, but on like real athletic training, and all of his crazy moves and curved sticks and carbon fiber and all that stuff to the 80s and plopping him on the Oilers.
I don't know if this is a hot take, but I think athletes today are more impressive than athletes from 100 years ago because of all of
But
the
you have to
advances in
Connor
science and
McDavid context of their
technology.
time.
Connor McDavid would tear the heart out of Wayne Gretzky's chest.
Connor McDavid is more impressive than any hockey player who played in 1992.
Okay. Yes,
He's
that's true.
a super
But you have
freak
to
with the
remember that's the context of their time.
Yes, 100%.
And that's why I'm saying Pyramids of Giza.
The context of the sphere is 5,000 years of technological advancements by the human race.
Yeah. And Montreal.
And Montreal
Thank
in
you,
particular.
Montreal. I'm glad it happened in Canada.
Whatever, nerd.
The new Egypt. Montreal.
Whatever, nerd.
You remember that? You know that old Louis C.K. bit where he's like, you're sitting on an airplane and you're complaining about not getting the Wi-Fi, and then he's like,
You're sitting on a chair in the sky.
you're sitting on a chair in the sky.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it's a good point.
And you're upset you can't get Wi-Fi. Do you realize where you are right now? You're flying through the air.
Yeah.
Someone handed you a bag of peanuts.
Man, what the hell did we do? I was thinking about what we did on it. This summer, we took a flight and whatever and got Wi-Fi, and I was watching videos or on Twitter or whatever I was doing. And I was thinking, like, what the hell did people do before this? And I was trying to think of what
Smoked?
So they smoked. But I remember the first time I stepped on an airplane without a CD jacket. Remember those MP3 CDs? You could put 150 songs on it. And you had
Barely that.
barely. And they were low quality. Yeah. But I remember I stepped on the plane and I'm like, I don't have to bring my CD jacket anymore because I got all my music right here on this here CD. And then before that, what was it? Game Boy. Crazy. But you'd have to bring all the cartridges and you'd have to bring extra batteries. But man, crazy. But then before that, what did you do? Like read the in-flight magazine? Like there was nothing.
Newspapers,
Talk to your
magazines, books.
family? Stupid.
Stupid. Why would you talk to them?
Stupid.
I see them all the time. I don't need to talk to them that much. Jesse,
What'd you
next
do
question.
at work yesterday? We've already had this conversation. Get the fuck.
Jesse, next question.
This is from K-Town. You want to do a little trivia? K-Town 2272 on the Discord where we're doing a live show next Tuesday. They write, there are 3 NHL teams with multiple Hart winners this season. Can you name them?
So Chicago, Hall and Perry, right?
I think you just
Oh, shit.
you just got the hardest one.
Yeah.
There's 2 more.
Wow.
Well
really
done.
Good.
Well
Has
done, Adam.
Stamkos
Really good.
or Kucherov won a Hart? Or both?
You get no
Kucherov
strikes on this. You get to submit
might
2
have.
more answers. You got 1 right. What are the next 2? You get to submit 2 and lock
Stamkos
them
won a
in.
Hart?
Oh, the Oilers. They
yeah.
have
That's
McDavid and Draisaitl.
Yeah.
That one should have been the free space.
That's 1 more. You get 1 more answer.
Who has won the Hart in recent memory? You're going to say something stupid like the Habs because Price has one and he's technically still on the Habs. Do they have a former... Sorry?
Even though he lives in Kelowna.
Whatever. He's still on the Habs. Do they have a former Hart winner?
Yep. Okay, here's my other question.
Not one I can think of.
Who is... Hang on.
No. What are you looking up?
Can I look... no. I'm going to look up a team's cap space.
No.
I can't look up a team. Dead cap? I can't look up dead cap?
This is trivia. You
All
can't
right.
look up shit.
All right.
That's not how trivia works.
All
It
right.
better... So help me God if it's the Coyotes.
Well, I wondered... Because they have... Weber never won one, right?
No.
You guys going to submit an answer?
Are you going to kiss my ass? The Leafs have Matthews.
Mm-hmm. And that's it.
And Matt Murray.
Nat Murray.
Yeah.
Noted cup winner.
Giordano never won it. Won a Norris, though.
Submit an answer, guys.
This is really hard. Did
got it.
Did Kopitar win one?
What you got?
No, he was nominated. He was nominated the whole year.
Did Brent Burns ever win one?
No.
This is hard. Rangers?
I'm gonna give you 2 minutes. I set the stopwatch even less than that actually. Minute 30, minute 15 now. Time's going quick. I don't know what's happening.
You're the worst.
Steve gets so upset when he can't get trivia.
I know.
He
Frustrated.
loves being right about hockey trivia.
Ovi. Are there any?
Does Ovi have a Hart Trophy? He's a good player.
Yes, he does.
He should be in the Hall of Fame one day. No, who else should be in the Hall
You
of Fame?
talking while I'm thinking is sending me into an ADHD rage. Like I want to throw hands right now.
Jaromir Jagr should be in the Hockey Hall of Fame, but he won't retire, so it's so tricky. You know, they can't put him in until he retires. And
This is not fair.
he's
throwing us off.
insane, you know? Jagr, did Jagr have a heart? He was good. He was a good hockey player.
Every syllable is like an Etch-a-Sketch.
I know. Me too.
Yeah.
I know. I'm struggling.
Wish I had some chalk in my nails on a chalkboard.
Who won it last year?
Penguins.
Oh! Wow!
With
Why didn't we
15
think of that?
seconds
I don't
to
know.
spare.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Crosby and Malkin. Well done, Steve Dangle. High five.
Well done.
Fuck off.
We did it together.
Yeah, you guys combined brains on that one. That was good. That was good trivia.
All right.
All right, all done.
All right, all done. Okay, so we'll wrap it up for today. We will be back Friday. And, of course, this weekend, be on the lookouts because we have every single team, a 10-minute season preview for every single NHL team. So that'll come out in video-by-video fashion, 10 minutes each. And then, of course, we're going to have the audio versions, which are Eastern and Western Conference, being released for Thanksgiving weekend in Canada, the second of the good Thanksgivings. It's not the best Thanksgiving. American is.
Listen. I get 2 different kinds of stuffing. I'm happy.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.